Hey guys, I want to talk about this PC Gamer article. They say FireWatch is getting review bombed on Steam. Gamers are angry that Campo Santo, that's the company that made FireWatch, essentially abused the DMCA system to issue takedown notices against PewDiePie because they're angry about his horrible transgression of using a racial slur on stream last week. FireWatch is getting a ton of negative reviews lately, but there's some stuff in this article that's really fucked up that I want to talk about. They say the big gaming controversy when the PewDiePie dropped an ugly racial slur in an angry outburst during a pub livestream. That prompted FireWatch developer Campo Santo to, they say, disassociate with the streamer by filing a DMCA takedown. See, this is how they try and minimalize everything that's done. What they've done is abuse the DMCA system. And so what they're doing is they're retroactively filing DMCAs against all of PewDiePie's old videos where he plays FireWatch. And this in turn has resulted in a thorough and ongoing review bombing campaign against the game on Steam. I love how they call this a campaign. There's no organization of people doing this. It's not people being sent by generals to go and leave negative reviews. It's just gamers who are upset with something and they want their voices to be heard, and Steam Reviews is a way that people do that. FireWatch was released in early 2016, had pretty good ratings at first, but with a very small audience. But now the recent reviews have turned to mixed, and it's not hard to figure out why, they say. So they show a bunch of little quotes from the reviews they've taken here. Terrible story, too short, Justice Warrior developers, SJW devs, the developers seem to support censorship, but I will not. So it's pretty much all the same idea from all these quotes, is that people are upset with the actions of the developers outside of the game, and they've come and left negative reviews on the game. Now here's one of the things I wanted to talk about. They say, in case there was any doubt about the motivation behind all this, they poked at the most recent 50 negative reviews, and they say that 43 out of 50 of them show 0 hours played in the last 2 weeks. And then they say that of those who do have time in the last 2 weeks, 5 of them are less than an hour. Now this is some dishonest bullshit that was written here to make it seem like the people leaving negative reviews were not actually fans. They were people who haven't actually played the game, they don't know what they're talking about. But it's really not the case, because I've played this game, as you can see on my Steam. I have 3 hours played. Now this is about a year ago, and I beat the game. And I wasn't rushing through it. I just played it at a normal pace. It's a very linear game with no replayability, so once you've played through it, that's it. So I have 3 hours, 3.5 or something like that, and I've never played it again. And so they're right when they say, if we look at the Steam pages here, of course there's a bunch of negative reviews. And they're right, all these people have 0 hours in time recently played. Now recently played shows any game time you've played in the last 2 weeks. But what they don't tell you in the article is that these people all have 4 hours on record, 6 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours again, 3.5 hours. That's more than enough time to beat this game. And since it's a game with no replayability, these people have all played this game. They've probably seen it to the end, and now they're leaving reviews. So to paint them as people who don't know anything about the game, who haven't actually played it and judged it for its content, is complete bullshit. And if you go down the page, you see some more of this, 6 hours, 5 hours. These people have all beat the game. They start out here by saying the negative reviews will probably have little practical impact on Campo Santo's fortunes, because the game's already been out for well over a year, and it sold 1 million copies late last year, probably in great part due to PewDiePie's streaming of the video, and with all his fans watching that, it gave them a lot of revenue. Now there is a point here that people aren't using Steam reviews for what they're meant for. I mean, they're meant to be a place to review a game, to let other people know what they're getting into if they buy the game. Everybody kind of knows that that's not what it's used for now. I mean, you get games like Fallout 4, which had great reviews, and then with the paid mods stuff that came out after E3 have terrible reviews now, all of a sudden. And it's the same thing as what's going on here. So, I mean, it's not exactly the best practice. I mean, you can't really judge a game by its Steam reviews in terms of content and gameplay, because people will air out their grievances with anything on the Steam reviews that has to do with the game or the developers. But it's not like this is just happening to FireWatch. This has been the case for many games, most games, for a long time now. Everybody knows it. And honestly, it sucks for people who want to go and judge a game by looking at the reviews. But it's also important that these gamers who've purchased these products have a place to make their voices heard. Personally, I don't think reviews is a place to do it, but you know, that's the way it is right now. They go on to try a bit to minimalize the abuse of the DMCA takedown system by Campo Santo's boss, Sean Vanneman. Here they say that he regrets using the system and a takedown notice, and he told BuzzFeed that censorship is not the best thing for speech, although there's a lot of news coming out now about people on the Steam reviews and also on the Steam forums and other game forums being banned, their posts being censored if they disagree with the devs on anything. So there seems to be a lot of censorship going on around this issue. The devs seem to be trying to do some damage control, and they don't want people saying bad things about the game or them or their actions. Now, Sean Vanneman also says that if he had a way to contact PewDiePie to take the video down, he probably would have. This is complete bullshit. He obviously had a way to contact PewDiePie. If you go on PewDiePie's channel, you have emails to contact him by. He's just making this up after the fact because he knows he's looking bad. I mean, when it came out, he was announcing this on Twitter. He was just clearly virtue signaling. He just wanted to show how much of a non-racist he was by taking offense on the behalf of other people for PewDiePie's racial slur, announcing to the world that he was going to take down this pathetic child who was being racist and destroying the good moral fabric of the gaming community. So he never actually wanted to do this in a legal or peaceful way with PewDiePie. He just wanted to attack him publicly. And then PC Gamer says, well, that said, they asked some lawyers and told us that Sean Vanneman and Campo Santo were completely within their rights to issue this takedown notice. Now this is some more bullshit. So they go on here to try and justify what the Campo Santo has done. They ask, can a publisher who objects to a certain YouTuber's character legally target that person with copyright claims for that reason alone? And of course they say the answer is yes. But I'm sorry, PC Gamer, the answer is actually no. DMCA takedowns are meant to be used to prevent other people from uploading and circulating your content, to make money off of it and at the expense of you making money off of it. But there's something called fair use that protects people who use your content in a transformative way. Now, arguably that is exactly what PewDiePie is doing. There's an entire Let's Play industry built off that. I think it'll be fairly easy for PewDiePie to argue that his use of FireWatch gameplay in his videos is fairly transformative. People watching PewDiePie's content, even if he's playing FireWatch, is not a suitable replacement to buying and playing the game. And it can even be argued that PewDiePie has made them money by streaming their game because of the immense reach he has. But here's the real kicker. They go on to acknowledge that on the official FireWatch FAQ on their website, Campo Santo explicitly gives players a blanket license to stream and monetize videos of FireWatch. This has been true since before PewDiePie did his video. They say that won't help PewDiePie because the license doesn't say non-revocable, so they can revoke it at any time they want. And while this is true, they can revoke their explicit consent for people to use the content. They can't revoke old videos based on that consent. They can't take down old videos that were made with the consent at the time because they no longer give consent now. At the time of PewDiePie making his video, not only does PewDiePie's old video almost certainly fall under fair use, but at the time of making it, he had explicit consent from Campo Santo to make it. So obviously they've made it clear that they're not issuing a DMCA takedown against PewDiePie because they think he's making them lose money, which is what the DMCA system is for. They're doing it for other reasons, just politically motivated, just to virtue signal about how they're not racist and he's totally a horrible racist. And they go on to give an example, arguing against a takedown request by saying other similar content isn't targeted, because plenty of other people have the right to stream FireWatch. PewDiePie's the only one they're going after. They say it's like telling a cop that you shouldn't be busted for speeding because lots of people speed without getting a ticket. I can't actually think of a worse analogy for what's going on. A more accurate analogy would be more like driving and obeying all the road laws and having a police officer pull you over and say, well, you're no longer allowed to drive. And you say, well, how come? Everyone else is allowed to drive, and so why are you taking away my license? And the police officer saying, because you're racist and I don't like you. They go on to say that a person can do whatever they want, but it's a copyright owner's decision whether to shut it down. And that's just not true. Fair use exists to protect copyright owners from abusing people and taking down their content, even when it's used in a transformative way that doesn't lose them any money at all. So they must know that this is all protected by fair use, because they go on to talk about if it's protected by fair use or not. And their conclusion seems to be that when YouTubers are challenged, the average YouTuber doesn't have the money to go to court, and so they end up just getting fucked over and submitting. Of course, this happens all the time. It's clear-cut examples of abuse of big companies with a lot of money sending around false DMCA notices to take down negative or critical reviews of their content, or in the case of PewDiePie, just because they don't like him. But that doesn't make it any more legal. This is still abuse of the DMCA system, and unlike most of these small Let's Player YouTubers, PewDiePie has a fuckload of money. And if he wants to fight this, he can, and he'll get the best legal team, and he'll probably kick their asses in court. So that's all I had to say about that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching.